So welcome to Joe's blog, Reflections of a 96-year-old. And that 96-year-old is Mr. Joachim Awule Lartey, aka Joe Lartey, retired broadcaster. And you wanted us to start off with what's happening
involving the whole of the West African, scene, with Ghana occupying a very important position in the state of affairs. I mean, the recent meeting of the military people was in Ghana a few days ago. I think it's over now.
Yes, today was day 2. They began yesterday.
Okay. I just bumped into some part of the discussions, and it looks military should be very carefully considered. It will not be very easy. Look at Russia going in to attack Ukraine. From the beginning, it looked as if it was going to be a one-week business. And the attack that was made in the hope that it was going to be very short, in the hope that it was going to be very brief. I'm pretty sure when Putin knew it was going to be like this, I don't think he would have gone into it. I'm very sure he was confident he could wipe these people out within a short time. And the war is still on. I think if we look at it from that angle, going into Niger may appear now to be a very brief thing. We're just going to stop these rascals from not proceeding further. But who knows? We can't tell. The economic situation, especially in our own country, should be considered. But at the same time, if ECOWAS does not flex its muscles and show that it is capable of doing something, the whole of the region will be in trouble.
You really think so?
And that's what I think so. That's what I think. That if ECOWAS doesn't do something more than a little of what it's doing now, a little more of what it's doing now, the whole region the ECOWAS organization will be taken for granted. So, strictly speaking, we are in a very difficult situation right now.
What can we learn from the previous conflicts throughout the years? Because you lived through World War II, and you would have been very conscious of the Korean War, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the troubles in Congo, Gulf War I, Gulf War II. What can we learn from all of these conflicts and apply to the Niger ECOWAS situation?
I think what we should learn is the value of time. 1, the value of time. 2, the value of consistency. 3, the value of speech, what we say. Because you go and say something and the next day you are in trouble. You make a speech, the speech will bind you to something, and you've got to watch it. I believe that ECOWAS head should not have declared his intention to go to war as a last resort. It should have been a secret. He should have kept it as a secret.
He shouldn't have mentioned it at all.
He shouldn't have mentioned it. He should have indicated it, but shouldn't have mentioned it. Because right now, it's a sort of it's a form of commitment. He's made a commitment. If this doesn't happen, that will happen. And if that which should happen doesn't happen, it's another problem. So I think heads should be cool I was impressed by the way the army chaps were speaking, making statements, and one factor that I am very much concerned with is the factor of terrain. Do we know the terrain? Does ECOWAS military, does it know the terrain? The terrain is going to. Russia's foreign policy appears to be taking advantage of confusion. They take advantage of confusion. If we don't go to Niger properly, fully, and then we should be thinking about the presence of urine. That's the substance they use for nuclear bombs.
Uranium.
Yeah. Presence of it in Niger makes Niger a very attractive country, and I'm pretty sure almost the major world powers may be interested in what's happening in Niger. So it's a very difficult situation we are in now. That's how I see it. It's a very difficult situation, and we need cool heads, and a lot of knowledgeable people on the scene.
Thank you.
So let's hope that our leaders will take things into consideration carefully,
right,
at the same time courageously, at the same time diplomatically, everything they should be thinking correctly, so they don't throw the whole region into trouble.
What do you think about the onion sellers in Ghana who are weeping and wailing and moaning about scarcity of onions because of the troubles in Niger?
Yeah, that's very natural, isn't it? Because their livelihood depends on the onion trade. And right now the trade is gone down. I saw it on the television. The area that they do the onion business, it's all empty right now. Nothing is happening. And if nothing is happening, the sellers or the people involved in the trade are suffering right now. They are in difficulty. So naturally, they will be asking for something, considering it from their angle and not from anybody else's. So it's a serious thing.
Yeah.
Very serious.
No, today is the 18th of August, and it's exactly 5 years to the day that the late Kofi Annan, former Secretary General of the UN, passed. Did you ever get a chance to meet him?
No, I never had a chance. Unfortunately, I had then faded out of serious business. But I heard of him a lot. I listened to some of his speeches. I read some of his writings and so on. And I think not only Africa, but the world has lost a very great man. And 5 years today, we should be staging some specific thing to mark this day and to remember him.
It's interesting you say this, because I was having a chat with Hajia Hamdatu Ibrahim, former acting chairperson of the Convention People's Party, and she was sad that Ghanaians appear to have forgotten Kofi Annan.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ghanaians have that tendency to forget important things. We should be commemorating. At least we should be commemorating 5 years. If we were not able to commemorate yearly, let's commemorate 5 years, 10 years, and so on. But nothing is being done. I don't think the papers have written about it. I haven't seen anything yet. It's unfortunate, because that guy was a cool-headed individual who knew how to take. We need a man like that today.
What do you think his impact would have been on this Niger ECOWAS standoff?
I think he would have taken a very cool stand and only come out when he knows where he had reached. I think so. He wouldn't have taken a hasty position. We would have taken it very coolly and only begin to speak when he is very clear as to what to do. And that is what we need. We want our leaders to do now. They should know any step they take, how it's going to affect the whole region. It is not a question of Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone. No, it's a question of a whole western part of Africa, and we should be very careful. Very, very careful.
We should be very careful about what's happening in Niger with respect to ECOWAS. You're listening to Joe's blog, Reflections of a 96-year-old. Joe Lartey, retired broadcaster, who is very up to date, and he hates to be ignorant about what's going on in the news. What else struck your mind as far as news, whether on the Ghanaian front or the foreign front this past week?
NPP is still in the process of finding a leader, and the way the whole show is going, I think there was a time within recently they nearly crossed the red line.
New Patriotic Party, a political party in Ghana.
But I think they've been able to listen to advice or listen to wisdom.
How do you mean you nearly crossed the red line? What are you talking about?
The way they were campaigning, the campaigning was getting a bit rough. The way they were speaking about the various candidates. It was becoming a little too much. But I think now they seem to be thinking. They seem to be aware that you should be careful, and that's a very good thing. You don't fight only to defeat yourself. You fight to win, to win against the other side. But if you apply tactics that will destroy your own arrangement or your own approach, that will be terrible. So I think they are now thinking.
Have you had an opportunity to listen to any of them speak? And if so, what do you make of some of their statements and their plans?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking on now. At a point, some of the statements were becoming a little too hasty.
Give me an example.
Statements against the vice president. They were giving the impression that everybody, or maybe all of them, were against the vice. But I think that has now gone down. I can't remember specific statements, but generally that was the impression they were creating. It seems to me they are now aware of it, and they should calm down.
I know a lot of people associate you with sports, and rightly so, because a lot of your renown has come from sports. Are you following any sporting activities in Ghana or around the world this last week?
The World Cup of Women is in Australia, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Spain. I missed yesterday's match.
England versus Australia, and England won.
Good God!
Yes.
The alma mater, Australia sprung out of England.
Yes.
It used to be a place where they sent criminals and things. They
are bad boys and girls.
Yeah. And England won.
Yes.
England has established itself as a mother country, more or less. I missed the commentary because I was busy on this funeral thing.
Yes.
Anyway, yes, I think that's the most outstanding sporting event of a week.
The final is on Sunday between England and Spain. Who are you tipping?
England and Spain. I'll take Spain. Spain. This is the first time they've got to where they are now. Should I? No, I'll give it to England.
You give it to England. So, do you predict scores normally?
No, normally I don't. But it's very likely to be a 2-1 thing or a 1-1. Either 1-1 or 2-1.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay, so 1-1 will go to penalties, but 2-1 will be a win.
Yes. Well, let's adopt that for him.
And you, just before we end, you briefly talked about a funeral. I understand this week you're bereaved.
Yeah, my son George lost the mother yesterday.
Oh, my condolences.
Yeah, and we are managing to organize the the Gas Homowa is tomorrow, Sunday.
Festival.
Saturday. Yeah. And we can't talk about funerals seriously now until after the Homowa celebration. So we hope we are trying to bring heads together. George may not be able to come to Ghana now.
Because your son has traveled, right?
Yeah, he's not in the country. So I have to play a double role, play the role of a father and the role of a son at the same time. We hope we'll have the sympathy of the whole country, of the whole world. Any individual who departs is a loss to the world. Okay, so we hope for the best.
Do deaths still hit you hard at the advanced age of 96?
Yeah, because I'm getting close to it. Before now, I wasn't thinking very much about death. But as I'm getting nearer, over the past few months, I keep thinking about what this whole process, how it will end, how does it end, how does it look like when it's ending. It's a very tricky moment for a person like me. Yeah, but I hope for the best. All my confidence is in my Maker. He brought me here, and He's going to take me away. And I'm praying that He should do it gently, so gently as He brought me in. The best process was not painful to me. Maybe to my mother it was, but to me personally, okay. So let's see what happens.
And finally, what made you smile this week, or made you really laugh heartily?
It's the way you dealt with me. The way your friendship has been extremely, extremely comforting, and it has made me very happy this particular week. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Kafuide, hanging with Mr. Joe Lartey, and this is Joe's blog, Reflections of a 96-year-old.